But leave it to the New York Times to find a cloud with all this silver lining stuff going on. They come out and knock the unemployment figures and the jobs numbers by saying Americans want to believe jobs are the solution to poverty. They're not. So according to the New York Times, these jobs numbers don't really mean anything to the average American. What do you think of that?
Well, I think I'd rather have one than not. Okay. And I think I'd rather have a job that's giving me a fatter paycheck after tax and after inflation. I love the New York Times. They're certainly entitled to their point of view. The best part of the story is, if we're going to do media stuff, the Washington Post ran the story on the blue-collar jobs explosion. That was the Washington Post. Right. As you know, David, a well-known supply-side media organ. I was sorry, Missy. I was really happy. I was really happy to see that. But look, the serious point here, is rolling back taxes, helping business, helping energy, rolling back regulations. That stuff is working. It's taking hold. And we are now entering into a capital goods business investment spending boom. Productivity, more capital per worker, better training, higher wages, people coming out, all right, they're out of the woodwork to get a job because they see how good the jobs are. And anybody who thinks this is a one-off, anybody who thinks this is just a 4% second quarter, please think again. All right, with all
I'll tell you, Larry,
respect,
though, the thing that they're
again.
worried about, though, is what's going on with all the different trade agreements. And even if we're heading in the right direction and we're all trying to achieve fairer, freer trade, it seems like it's going to take a little bit to get there. That could be what's behind swipes from people like somebody we know well, Jamie Dimon, who went out and made that swipe at the president, saying that he could beat him, that he's just as tough. But, and there's been a lot of hay made about that. I know that, Jamie hasn't loved the president and his policies when he saw the economic expansion. He was in huge favor. Jamie. But I wonder, has the trade problem gotten under his skin, or why do you think he made these remarks, and how do you take them?
Look, I'm a big fan of Jamie Dimon's, and a friend down through the years. He's been very kind to me, including in my transition to this position. So I'll leave that to Jamie. Regarding trade, what I would say is this. The president wants to move into the direction of zero tariffs, zero non-tariff barriers, zero subsidies. Lower the barriers. Let's play by the rules. This is particularly aimed at China, which is the worst offender, stealing technology, and so forth and so on. The president is determined. He inherited a broken trading system, okay? That's important. The World Trade Organization needs to be reformed. China needs a complete overhaul. Other countries, including our allies, we can all do better. And if we lower trade barriers and give the United States a chance to export, we will do great, because we're the most competitive economy in the world right now. We are killing it on the economy.
Larry, I know how you feel about free trade.
All over the world.
I don't want to.
This is the precursor to free trade. You're going to have. President Trump inherited a broken system. And as I've said a million times, blaming Trump is not right. He's trying to fix something that nobody wanted to touch the last 20 years.
Larry, though, you swear that is what he's after, because there are people out there who still don't believe that, who believe that he's a protectionist from way back, that he wants to build walls everywhere, including on trade. I know that you believe in no trade barriers, like you said, and no subsidies. You really believe in your heart that's what the president wants and believes?
Well, I believe it in my heart. I believe it in my head. I've talked to him a million times. Look, he's a trade reformer. That's a real hard thing to do. I acknowledge that, Melissa.
Yeah.
And I acknowledge that a lot of people are critical. They prefer the status quo. I think the status quo is wrong here, and I think President Trump is absolutely, completely right. In other words, I think he's doing the Lord's work. And let me just say, don't judge this. Basically, his campaign on trade reform, I'm going to say it's about 5 or 6 months old, because we did the tax cuts last year. Give it a chance, okay? Yeah. Breakthroughs in Mexico, good movement in Europe, maybe Canada, I don't know. More talks in China, more talks in Japan. These things are hard to do. Give him a chance. I do not believe there is a case to be made that the president's trade reform efforts are damaging the American economy. Quite the contrary. quite the contrary, and he's acting in the best interest of the U.S. workforce and so forth. But look, the story this year in 2018 is not about fictionalized versions of the White House. The story is about an economic boom that virtually everybody said was impossible, but in fact it is happening, and it is picking up steam.
Larry, we know you well. We know you wouldn't work there
that.
if that weren't the case, that if you believed he was in there for the wrong things, you wouldn't be there. David and I have known you for a long time.
That is correct. That is absolutely correct. And with respect, I hear my critics. I hear the president's critics. I understand their different points of view. There always are. I'm just saying, give it a chance.
Okay.
He's a very good negotiator. He's heartfelt. He's hands-on. And you know what? I still believe the tide is going to turn in that direction. And when it does, believe me, the U.S. economy, the U.S. workforce, Main Street, everywhere will benefit. And the other countries who participate in a free trade system will also benefit. This would be good for the rest of the world. So give it a chance. Right now,
and are we going to have zero tariffs? Larry, are we going to have zero tariffs?
Well, that's my goal, and that's the president's goal. And that's a good goal to have. That is that's the high ground as a trade reformer. Nobody's done this, David. In 20 years, they've made noises about China, but they've never followed through. Why not give President Trump a little credit for doing the right thing? And look at the performance of our economy. What am I going to say? Blue collars and fatter paychecks. How's that for a close?
We love it, Larry Kudlow.